The day I found out my wife Karen was cheating on me wasn't loud or dramatic. There were no screams, no slammed doors. It was quiet. A single text message on her phone left face up on the kitchen counter. A message from a man named Alex, detailing their upcoming weekend getaway. My world didn't just crack, it silently dissolved into a million tiny pieces. Karen and I had been married for 8 years. We were that couple, the one everyone said was perfect. We built a life together, a home, a future. Or so I thought. For the first few days, I was a ghost in my own house. I went through the motions: work, dinner, chores, but I wasn't really there. I was watching a movie of my life, and I was no longer the main character. Karen acted like nothing was wrong. She'd kiss me goodbye in the morning and ask about my day in the evening, her voice full of the same warmth I had always known. But now, it sounded like a lie. Every word, every touch felt like a performance. The betrayal was a physical weight, pressing down on my chest, making it hard to breathe. My first instinct was to confront her, to throw the phone in her face and demand an explanation. But what would that solve? She'd cry, she'd apologize, she'd promise it would never happen again. But could I ever trust her? The foundation of our marriage was gone. A simple confrontation felt unsatisfying. It felt too easy for her. The pain she'd inflicted on me deserved more than a tearful, hollow apology. It deserved to be understood. She needed to feel a fraction of the emptiness that now consumed me. That's when the plan started to form. It wasn't born from anger or rage, but from a cold, calculated calm. I decided to play the long game. My silence became my greatest weapon. I became the perfect husband. More attentive, more loving, more present than I had been in years. I bought her flowers, cooked her favorite meals, and listened intently when she talked about her day. I watched as her guilt slowly ate away at her. She started looking at me with confusion in her eyes. She expected an explosion, a fight. What she got was affection. She became jumpy, constantly checking her phone, flinching whenever I entered a room unexpectedly. The weekend of her getaway with Alex arrived. She told me she was going on a work retreat. I smiled, told her to have a great time, and even packed a small travel kit for her. As I kissed her goodbye, I saw a flicker of genuine remorse in her eyes. She was torn. This was exactly what I wanted. I needed her to be caught between the life she had and the thrill she was chasing. While she was gone, I didn't sit at home wallowing. My plan moved into its next phase. I knew Karen was meticulous about our finances. She balanced our checkbook every single month. So I started moving money, small amounts at first, into a new account under my name. Then I began liquidating some of our shared asset stocks, bonds, things she wouldn't notice immediately. I was careful, covering my tracks with a series of complex transfers. I was dismantling our life together, brick by brick, without her even knowing. I also started documenting everything. Screenshots of the texts, copies of hotel reservations I found in her email trash folder, even a recording of a phone call she took in the garage, thinking I was asleep. I wasn't gathering evidence for a divorce lawyer, I was gathering it for her. I wanted her to see the full, undeniable picture of her betrayal. The most difficult part was maintaining the facade. There were nights I wanted to scream, days I wanted to just pack a bag and leave. But the thought of my plan coming to fruition kept me going. I was an actor in the greatest performance of my life. My role, the loving, oblivious husband, and I was playing it to perfection. Karen came back from her trip with Alex, and she was different. The guilt was a heavy cloak she couldn't shrug off. She tried to be affectionate, but it was forced. She'd look at me, her eyes welling up with tears, and I'd just smile and ask if she was okay. My kindness was becoming her torture. She started confessing small, insignificant things, testing the waters. "I feel like I've been distant lately," she'd say. I'd reply, "We've both been busy, honey. Let's make more time for each other." My plan wasn't just about financial separation. It was about psychological warfare. I started accidentally mentioning Alex's name. I'd see a car like his and say, "Oh, that's a nice car. Reminds me of that guy Alex from your office." The color would drain from her face. I'd bring up the hotel she stayed at, claiming I saw a great deal online. And maybe we should go there for our anniversary. Her panic was palpable. She was living in a prison of my design, and the walls were closing in. The final phase of my plan was set for our 9th anniversary. I booked a table at the fancy restaurant where I first proposed. For weeks, I hyped it up, talking about how special it was going to be, a night to celebrate our love and our future. I saw a glimmer of hope in her eyes. Maybe she thought we could fix this. Maybe she thought my love was unconditional enough to survive her affair. She was wrong. On the morning of our anniversary, I woke up before her. I went to the bank and withdrew the last of the money from our joint account. I packed my bags, which I had been slowly stashing in my car for weeks. The last thing I did was set up the dining room table. I didn't leave a note. I left an evidence binder. I laid it all out. Printed screenshots of her texts with Alex, the hotel receipts, the bank statements showing the transferred funds, a detailed timeline of her affair. On the very top, I placed a single photo of us from our wedding day, a picture of two happy people with a future that was now a lie. And next to it, the keys to her car and a signed divorce petition. I didn't take our house. I didn't take her car. I took away her security, her comfort, and her illusion that she could have it all. I can only imagine the scene when she woke up. The excitement for our anniversary dinner, the slow, dawning horror as she walked into the dining room. Not to find a romantic breakfast, but the complete and utter demolition of her life, laid out in black and white. She would see that I knew, that I had known all along, and that my silence wasn't weakness, it was the sharpening of a blade. I drove away from that house and didn't look back. There was no satisfaction in what I did, only a hollow sense of justice. Revenge isn't sweet, it's empty, but it was necessary. It was the only way I could close that chapter and start a new one, a chapter where I was the only author. My silence had been my power, and my departure was my final word. She didn't just lose a husband. She lost the life she took for granted, and I finally found my freedom. Thank you for watching. If you've been through something similar, remember that your strength is greater than your pain. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more stories. See you next time.